Hello, everyone. It's Matchbook Horse Racing podcast time, where we're previewing just 7 races for you. There's a real mixture of competition and quality throughout them. Some aren't going to be the hottest betting heats for us to preview. Some are pretty damn good, including the first race we're going to preview, which we'll come to, which is, of course, the Betfair Hurdle. But we will get there. Steve Jones, Micheál, Deasy, and Adele Mulrennan join me. I think that constitutes a pretty strong team. I nearly said A team, but I didn't want, Charlie Post and Rick to get upset.
Does that make you Hannibal Smith?
Yeah, B.A. Baracus.
No. Well, you've got the hair for B.A. Baracus. I'll give you that. Yeah, you have got the hair for him.
You'll get on too many flights to be B.A. Baracus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I ain't getting on no plane.
He was never going to be the boss of Ryanair, was he? Let's be honest. Anyway, let me tell you about the sign-up offer. Right, this is what we're going to go for first. I had to double check that. So this is a new offer for you, and it relates to this podcast, and it relates to the best bets on this podcast. So no pressure, all of you. It's double the odds on the podcast best bets. It's for new customers only. You've got to sign up using the bonus code podcast. Very simple. And you get your extra winnings up to £50 in cash. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware. An example of this is if it's a 6.0 shot, Steve Jones, what does it become with double the odds on the podcast bets?
12.0.
Yes, Steve.
Does it?
Because it's doubled, isn't it?
Yeah.
Double.
I was never good at mathematics.
It's 11.0, lads.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You've done me over. It is 11.0.
6.0 is 5 to 1, and double that is 10 to 1, which is 11.
Oh, what? Look what he's written in front. He's right. That's it. Hussey's getting in trouble. Dan Hussey's written on the sheet in front of me. That's all right. We'll just start this again. Oh no, it's live.
No.
So a 6.0 shot, DC becomes
11.0.
That's right, because as he explained. Good. I think that went really well.
I'm just glad you didn't ask me that.
Yeah, it's a great offer.
It's a really good offer. It's well worth taking advantage of. It is for new customers only, but we're enhancing the odds of the podcast best bets. And by and large, the podcast best bets are doing pretty well. There was a period towards the back end of last year where we were well up, so they're worth following. And the good news is that the big bosses don't listen to the podcast, so I'll still be in a job next week. Comment anything you like to win a £25 free bet. That's for new or existing customers. We'll select someone at the end of the podcast to get their £25 free bet. Hit the like button and subscribe for free. Check out the Ollie Murphy podcast. That is episode 3 out now. And also, as far as what we have on our channels for you, we've got the latest Matt Tombs Cheltenham previews, the Brown Advisor, I think. All of Matt's stats are in there. They're well worth getting stuck into. And my favourite one so far, the Ballymore. I love all of his stats about the Ballymore. There we are. Let's get stuck into the previews. We're going to start with the big one. It's the 335, and it's the Betfair Hurdle. Right, rather than just give you prices for all of them, we've got 18 at the moment. I'll give you the prices when the guys make their selections. And Adele is going to make an excellent case for the Nichols runners.
Well, Paul absolutely loves this meeting. Like he loves having. He said it was one of his favourite meetings of the season. So, and he's got some great chances, and I'm hoping he's got 2 very strong ones. I couldn't quite decide between the 2 because I couldn't quite see which one he was siding with. From what I can see, both of them have got very good chances. So Hacker Des Places for me, who has done very, very little wrong, has got a good attitude. I suppose they probably learnt a little bit about him with Angus, maybe hitting the front a little bit too soon with him the last time he rode him, so maybe he might just hold on to him a little bit more. That was at Cheltenham. He's a nice, neat jumper, looks quite straightforward. And then his other one, Rubo, look, he was firmly put in his place by Rare Edition on Boxing Day. That was on soft ground. I think the better ground on Saturday will suit him. a mark of 130. Paul seemed to think that was fine for him. So again, the two of them just, they've not done anything really wrong for me, and I presume they're going to be big enough prices that you could even play them at the place market. I'm not sure which one's bigger. So yeah, look, it's a great race. There's only ever been 2 winning favourites, so look for something at a big price. They've been as big as you like, the winners of that race. So yeah, I'm going for them too. I think Paul's going to have a great day on Saturday.
Well, he's running so much, isn't he? So just to agree with you there, I was tossing up between 2 of them. I've sided with Rubo, who is an 8.5 shot. 10.0 is Hackaday Plus. You're quite right. After that race at Cheltenham, Paul said exactly that he hit the front too soon. I do think that is good form. I'm slightly put off by the fact that under his £5 penalty, he's actually £1 wrong. But
yeah, you would rather him not have that. But
yeah.
like, I just don't like in the way he goes and the job he's done so far this season. I don't think there's not many negatives about him. So yeah, I'll pick them too.
So I'll side with Rubo. For obviously they're going to keep going with Angus Chalida on Hackaday Plus, Harry Cobden's on Rubo. I know Rare Edition didn't exactly frank the form yesterday, but I still think that's a really good horse. And I just can't get out of my head the weight of money that came for Rubo last time. He's got the right profile for this race. Being a novice, I think 130 is. I think has the capability to be way beyond that. And yeah, I'm happy enough to take him, win and place. And the other one I want to back is One More for the Road. Definitely win and place. He's 34.0. He's a course and distance winner when he beat Captain Morgs, who proves, Steve, that he's no monkey, Captain Morgs. He's straightforward. When he won again recently, that's really good form. But also in that race, Gal Road's gone on to be rated higher over fences. Soaring Glory was disappointing in that. I know he nicked it a bit from the front, but I do like a horse that is up with the pace in this race. Much of that in recent seasons has been because it was a standing start when they had those in place. So maybe that's slightly skewed on now that they get another go to jog in. But still, I like you to be up with the pace in this race. He will be. The only bad run he's put in recently was last time. So that's at the back of my mind, but that's why he's the price he is. If you forgive that, I think he's got a lot in his favour. And I'm just really surprised he's the price he is. Jack Quinlan's won this race before as well. So One More for the Road, win and play. Steve Jones.
Unmute myself, I'll remember. Rare Edition yesterday was scoped a bit dirty, so I shouldn't worry about that if you do fancy the form there with Rubo. I fancy one. I can't understand why this horse is this price. He's 17.0, 21.0, something like that. Dear Mark, who is right down the bottom of the weight. Sam Thomas, who hasn't got a huge amount of horses, but he's got a good strike rate and he knows how to set one up for a decent race. This horse's form all the way through has been really good. And it's been, he handles decent ground. He won a bumper on decent ground, so he shouldn't have any problem with there. He took to hurdles. First time up, he finished second to Fenner Cross at Cheltenham back in October, again on decent ground. Now, Fenner Cross came out and won a grade 2 at Cheltenham the following month when Dear Mark wasn't so good. But that certainly wasn't his form. And he bounced back from that to win at Hereford. And then last time on handicap debut at Kempton on softer ground, he beat Caleb a length and a half. Well, Caleb had form with the likes of Rare Edition in bumpers and Tamurus, the Tolworth winner. He actually unseated it in the Sydney Banks yesterday, but don't worry about that. But that's good form. And Dear Mark, even though he beat him a length and a half, absolutely bolted up. And the thing was, the jockey, Sam Twiston Davis, it's Charlie Deutsch this time, which is a good thing as well because he's riding really well. He couldn't hold on to him long enough. This horse travels so well. So this kind of race would be absolutely perfect for Dear Mark. He'll love him going a fast pace. He'll love the big field, so he can just cruise into it. And I've looked at it over and over again, and I just cannot understand why he's the price he is. So winning place, dear Mark.
Yeah, 19.0. And Deasy.
I am going for 2 Chris Gordon horses in this. Adele mentioned about Pollock is loving this meeting, and Chris Gordon generally comes into form around this time of year, and he always has runners running well in this particular race. So the first one I'm looking at is Auchenrisk. He's back over hurdles after 3 runs chasing. He's rated £7 higher chasing after 3 runs than he is over hurdles. He's a horse I like an awful lot. I've kind of followed him over the last season. He's about 14 or 14.0, 16.0. Like Chris Gordon has had horses like Remeluk now placing this race at massive prices. He ran a cracker last time behind Boot Hill. He got one in a length to Boot Hill chasing. I think he's probably thrown in off the mark. He is. They're kind of in the middle of the weight, so I'll be having a win place betting him. He's about 15 or 16.0, and I'm going to go after the one who's at Highway 102, who again is just a good solid handicapper. He has already beaten Hacker de Place by 7.5 lengths this year at Ascot. He beat him on good ground there, absolutely thumped him. He was given £2 that day, and now he's given him £1 today. He is 21.0. He's a massive price, so I'm just going to stick with what I know, stick with Chris Gordon. He's 5 winners from 12 in the last 2 weeks, and he's had 2 seconds as well in second out of 10. Like they weren't 4-runner races, so he is in very good form. Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, I hope he wins the first race we're going to be looking at as well, or the first race on the ITV card anyway, which we'll come to now. I'll look at the 335 at Newbury. We're going to go back to the 150 next up. This is a Class 3 handicap hurdle over 3 miles. Barbados Bucks is the horse that heads the betting at 4.5. West of the Bridge is 7.0. 8.0 for Annual Invictus with Chris Gordon's son on board, Freddie Gordon. Jataluwa is 8.0. 9.0 regarding Ruth. Then we're into double figures. Dees, you can just make the case straight off the bat, and I agree with you.
Yeah, just going for Annual Invictus again. He's dropping down a grade. He's been running in Class 2s. Now he pulled up over Christmas, which isn't great. Before that, he won very well at the November meeting at Shetland, beating Fontana Lisi. Again, he was carrying he was nearly top weight in that. He had Tom Cannon on board, and he ran behind Captain Morgs in the international meeting at Cheltenham as well. He finished third. He was ahead of our boy Jack Louis that day. He is he's top weight in this, but I think he should probably be able to carry it. It'll be good ground, which he's fine with. I think the ground is going to put a lot of horses off at the weekend, because it's going to be very, very hard in Newbury, and you're going to need a horse that'll handle that. And I think he'll be fine in that. Again, he's a decent enough price. He's 8.0, so I'll probably have if they all come up, there's 9 in it there now. I mean, if it's the dead 8, I'll definitely have a win place betting them. But if there's a few pull out, I'll just go win only.
I was looking at him from a win place point of view at 8.0 currently. As you say, if a couple come out, then you're not going to get 3 places. But I'd look at him from that point of view. The only thing I'd add is that when he did run badly in December, Chris Gordon's horses were quiet. He's had a really good season, but just December, they were very quiet. I thought that Barbados Bucks was pretty short, given how much he has or hasn't won and his effort last time. So, yeah, I wanted to take him on. Adele?
I have gone with West to the Bridge, a 10-year-old who has been there, done it numerous times. He's won 8 of his 34 starts. I was thinking I was going to go with Barbados Bucks, thinking he might be a bit of a safe bet. And then I thought, you know what? This horse has done very little wrong. He, as I said, he's been there and done it. I think he's off a mark of 133. He's won off 136. So I do think he'll appreciate the step back up in trip. I know the last time he won was over the extended 3 miles, so back up to 3 on Saturday. I just can't see why he couldn't run a decent enough race. He's ran 2 decent races this year. The cheap pieces on the last day, they're back on again. Bridget, I find like I feel like the Skelton team seem to be putting her on these kind of horses, those that are a little bit older, that kind of probably want kidding along a little bit. And hopefully she can kind of kid him along and get him back to winning ways. So, yeah, I just think he's a safe enough bet. He jumps well. As I said, he's been there, done it. won 8 times, and hopefully he'll win again on Saturday.
And Steve.
Yeah, I'm going for, how do you say it? Jatilua, which is an Indonesian, it's in Bali. It's a historic rice terrace, apparently. But it's got a good chance, this horse. I think that Philip Hobbs has had a pretty dreadful season, but the horses are starting to run a lot better. And Jatilwa has been running okay. Was 4th behind Captain Morse. Had been tried fences last season, but didn't really progress over them. But ran 4th behind Captain Morse at Cheltenham. That was just behind Annual Invictus, so the form ties in a bit there. But that was when Philip Hobbs's horses weren't running well. And last time at Ludlow, I just thought he was a bit keen in the softer ground. And that just compromised his finishing effort. And I think getting back on better ground over this sort of distance will help Jatilwa, who is ridden not by his owner, David Maxwell, for the first time since arriving from France. And I think that's quite a key thing. Tom, the stable jockey, Tom O'Brien, rides, and I don't think that's a bad thing by any means. I mean, I wouldn't be too hard on David Maxwell because he buys these horses to ride, and that's exactly it. But you've got to be realistic and know what you're getting. And with Tom O'Brien, you're getting a better jockey, and that's the key. So I think he's a really good bet, actually, to Jatilua. Got a great chance with the stable running much better again.
Good stuff. That is Jatilua at 8.0. I'm smiling because everyone's just taking the piss out of you, Steve, on the private chat. it's just not nice, is it? But yeah, he's struggled a bit, Philip, this year. But we'll see how hopefully the horse will start picking up. I
would have tipped Jatilua if he was trained by anyone else, but I think Philip Hobbs is just. I didn't know you said he was winding down there now. I just think he's not doing it anymore. Jatilua is a good horse though. So I wouldn't play anyone after me.
They probably said that about Henry Cecil about 10 years before he traded Frankel. So.
And that is the only Frankel comparison Jatilua will ever have. Let's kick on with the. I'm looking forward to doing this. This is the 225. Because I know what Steve's lay is, and naturally, it was almost my best bet. Right, Denman Chase. Hitman is 3.0. Eldorado Allen, who is rated superior, but he's got to give him £6, is 4.0. Funny Destruval with the cheek pieces on is 4.5. Does he know 8.0? Sam Brown 13.0. Kalashnikov 23.0 and Zanza for Philip Hobbs is 31.0. Steve, take it away.
Last year's winner should be favourite, in my opinion, even though he's giving weight away all round. Eldorado Allen, and he's got cheek pieces. I think this sort of sums this race up, that there's 7 runners, 5 of them are wearing headgear, 4 of them for the first time. So the one horse that probably needs it isn't wearing it. So Eldorado Allen, I think, has been really good. He beat Royal Pagal in this race last year, and thought that was, and Clanders Obo, I thought that was the stronger race. And since then, he finished 3rd to Allaho at Cheltenham in the Ryanair. He finished 2nd to Braithman's Game in the Charlie Hall, and he was 2nd to Protectorate in the big race at Haydock. And then he was 4th in the King George. His form, he's been taking on top horses all the way through since he won this race last year. And now he takes on Hitman.
Please can we clip up that laugh? Do you think Hitman needs headgear?
I think anything would help Hitman. I think he's just soft. And I don't think and this is 2.7 and a bit.
Did you see?
I don't think he stays 3 miles. I think he needs to just say again.
Did you see what he did at Haydock?
Oh, what, in that graduation chase?
Yeah.
And graduation chases are for horses that haven't won very often. And that says it all. Did you see what he did at Kempton?
Well, he pulled up.
I mean, fair play. Beating Ern River and Manila Drama and Itchy Feet over fences. I mean, that makes you borderline gold couples, doesn't it?
Hitman's 4 from 15. Eldorado Allen is 5 from 22.
I think if you put Eldorado Allen in a graduation chase with 3 runners that were significantly lower, then he'd probably have half a chance. And Hitman, fair play. He finished second a lot, and he's just. I don't like the horse. I think he's the softest horse in training. I don't think he stays 3 miles. They might just on fast ground be able to stretch him out to 2.7, but he'll be taken on up front again.
By what?
Well, by does he know or take him on, won't he? Is it does he know?
No, he was ridden.
He was
ridden.
There's other front runners, and Eldorado Allen be a horse that wouldn't be bothered by taking. He made the run in this last year, Eldorado Allen. So it's the softest horse in training, Hitman.
Hitman will go forward. What price do you think he should be, Hitman?
He shouldn't be favourite. Eldorado Allen should be favourite.
Hitman,
absolutely.
2.0. He will. The moment the race starts, he'll shorten. He is a bit of a bridle pony, definitely. He'll trade at even money in the race, so you'll be able to get out.
Helen doesn't know how hurtful that is, because one of the on-course betting reps used to call me Brent. And when I worked at Raceform, and I left Raceform, and I used to go back there and play golf with a few of the guys, and I used to go back to the offices, and one of the lads there, Ron Wood, started calling me Nelson, and I didn't want to ask him why, and it's because when David Brent used to go back into the office when he'd had the sack, he used to take his dog with him called Nelson.
Anyway, you don't like Hitman. Right, Hitman will win, but more importantly, he will trade short. He's a great horse to back now. You'll be able to get out even money, but he'll be too good for them. He'll make all, and he won't come off the bridle. Deasy.
That won't happen, Tom. Anyway, I'm after copying Adele a small bit in this, but again, I'm going for a horse that will handle the ground, and that's Does He Know? He is, I think he's 4 from 6 in good ground. Doesn't really run in the old heavy winter ground. He's early in the season and late in the season. It's a good solid horse. He'll stay further than 3. He should be able to stay up with him. And he's a nice price. He's about 8.0. So I'll just have a little win only bet on him.
And Adele.
Yeah. Hitman. I thought that was I think it's interesting what Steve says about him, and he calls him. What did you say about him? He was windy.
Soft.
He's soft. So he bled in the King George, didn't he? He burst a blood vessel, which is interesting because maybe that's why he's been a little bit the way he's been. Because you don't know they bleed sometimes until it comes out of the nostril. Sometimes they do it, but it stays inside. You don't really notice it, and that's why they can be a bit of a bridle horse and don't really let themselves down. So I was just wondering if maybe it's something he's had for a while. Anyway,
it's interesting that it came to surface when he's tried 3 miles as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you know, when you put them under pressure, then that's when it happens, because it could have been happening, but because he's not been under that, he's not gone that far before put under that kind of pressure, then that's when it comes out. So it's still a real big negative for me. That kind of thing needs a lot of that kind of medication and sorting out. So I'm going with Does He Know, who has been called a head case in the past. The last time he ran at Newbury, he ran out in the Challow, so over hurdles. But horses like him, I find like they always seem to have a little bit up their sleeve, always keeping a little bit back for themselves. I know he does a lot of schooling with Laura Collett, who spends a lot of time schooling him and stuff. So he stays well. He'll like the ground. He's a good price. Not wanting to go with Hitman, who is too short for me, given we've already said he's negative. So yeah, look, I'm not really strong on him. I do like him. I like the fact he's a little bit wayward. Horses like him, as I said, I think they hold a little bit back up their sleeves. So, and I thought he was impressive last time out. So yeah, he stays further. Good galloper, and I think the fences seem to be making a bit more of a man of him. So, yeah, I think there still might be a bit more to come with him.
Okay, a few different selections going up. Steve, I know you had one more thing to say.
People will see me and they see the suit and they go, "You're not fooling anyone." They know what rock and roll.
Oh no, that's I get confused.
I'll give you that one.
Good. All right. And I know that's Steve's Lay going up later on in Scotland. So I'm really looking forward to that race now. I think we'll find a bit out. I don't know how much I'm looking forward from a betting perspective to the game spirit. Well, it might be a bit of a non-event betting wise. We might just have a look at the champion chase quickly as well. So Grenadine is 1.5, Fernambol Civila is 6.5, Elixir the Nuts 9.0, 10.0 Melistic Mortlock is 81.0. Deasy, you had something here, did you not? Yes. You want to bet without the favourite?
Yeah, I like everyone put up no bet Grenadine. I didn't want to do that, so I've actually made a last minute change. I'm going to go for Elixir the Nuts to finish second. Again, the ground, he'd handled the ground. I thought he was very good the last time. I put him up the last time to win at Wincanton, and I wasn't expecting to win by 8.5 lengths, but he was brilliant that day. He just jumped him into submission. The horse that beat him the time before, Excitations, actually franked that for him as well. He's up a few pounds now. He's up to 145. I know that doesn't really matter in this race. They're not. It's not a handicap, but I think that he can definitely finish second in this. I don't know what price you'll be getting for second. It'll probably be close to maybe 3.0, but I can see him finishing 8 or 9 lengths second to Grenadine.
Had you? Am I wrong that you were tempted with Melistic to finish second at one point?
I had Melistic up first, but I didn't see Elixir the Nuts. I had the wrong horse, but I'd have Elixir the Nuts over Melistic every day. Melistic will run.
I like Melistic.
Yeah, I thought his win at Doncaster the last day was very good. I know he was kind of running out of puff there at the end of it a small bit maybe, but and I'd say Saint Seagal is a well handicap horse, but I think Elixir the Nuts is probably just a different level to Melistic. So I changed literally a minute and a half ago. So we'll see if I was right or wrong.
Fine. I'm just going to use this chance then, because I know nobody else has an official bet in the race, to tell you that Grenadine is 15.0 for a champion chase. You've got Blue Lord in there at 13.0, Gentleman de May at 10.0, Editor de Gite 7.0, Edward Stone 3.0, and Energumen 2.63. Do you have any views on that, Steve, where Grenadine fits in amongst that lot? Can he win a champion chase, Grenadine?
I think he needs quite a few to underperform, but I think no reason why he can't run well. I just think he's a little bit off the top class. This is his sort of race, picking up a race like this. So, yeah, he's a nice enough horse who probably will win this and then probably win something like the back end Sandown race or something like that. I think he's won before. So, I think if Edwardstone gets there in one piece, I think he's going to be very hard to beat. But Editor de Gite is a massive contender, no doubt about it.
The other thing on Grenadine is we sort of have to measure Edwardstone in a way, not just on what he did last time, and I don't think he was fully cooked for that being touched off by Editor de Gite, but his hammering of Grenadine, Adele in the Tingle Creek. If you take the view that Grenadine ran up to form, then Edwardstone is the second coming in the 2 mile chase division as far as the UK horses go, for all he was touched off last time. So I'm surprised he's not favoured for a champion chase, Edwardstone.
Oh, I really do hope he gets there. I absolutely love that horse. And listen, I know Editor de Gite is, like, the way they ride him, it is fantastic to watch when you see a horse go out there like from the front and, really kind of like put the race to bed. But obviously Edwardstone, Tom rides him. He had to kind of ride him the way he did, because he'd unseated him the time before. The only thing I'm worried a little bit about Edwardstone is I've just noticed when they do go that stride quicker, he's always. I can tell by his ear the way his ear language, that he's kind of looking for Tom for reassurance as to when to take off. and I just am a little bit worried about that for Cheltenham, because they go that stride quicker, and I just can see him a little bit out of his comfort zone, and he half looks and waits for Tom, which is why I felt like he made that bad mistake before. So I don't know whether they'll do a little bit of work on him at home. He's just so laid back. He's a lovely horse. I do think he's got a lot of ability. I just hope things kind of really click with him before that, like for Cheltenham.
And the other thing is that he was going to run at Ascot and then run in the Game Spirit, but then because Cheltenham was pushed a week later, he couldn't. And I know, Alan King doesn't like him to be fresh, but there we are. Regarding his setback, I think the consensus is he will be that will not be able to be used as an excuse. He's being ridden again already, and he's absolutely fine. Dan Hussey says, "Gentleman to me, overpriced." I love how this has turned into a Champion Chase preview, but where the hell did that come from? By the way, beating Blue Lord. Maybe he's a spring horse. He beat Edwardstone last year. Anyway, does anybody have anything else to say on this? Please.
I thought Edwardstone was probably unlucky the last time. He just let Editor de get away from him. If they'd pushed the button on him maybe 2 or 3 seconds earlier, I think he would have won. I think he's a fantastic horse. And I'd be backing him all day over in Orgamine again at Cheltenham. Gentleman to me, again, bit of a headbanger, but he could probably short. I think he's a very good horse as well, and he probably is a spring horse. I think there was another horse that a few years ago exactly like that, just came good for the spring festival. So I don't think he won at Cheltenham, but he won at Punchestown. But I'd have Edwardstone ahead of the lot of them. And poor old Grenadine gets an awful lot of abuse and is not a great horse, but he's won nearly £500,000. He's 10 wins in his career. He's a serious horse.
All right, the 130 at Warwick is the Warwick Castle. Stolen Silver is 2.25, 4.0 Galahad Quest, with cheap pieces on. Night in Dubai 7.0, Mackenberg 9.0, 10.0, Messier des Obeaux. There's a bit of a team steam here in the form of Stolen Silver. Go on, Steve.
You just see a race sometimes and you just think that wins. And this is it. This is, his form is much the best. He goes on decent ground really well. His last 2 wins have come on good ground. The most recent of those was when he thrashed Simply the Bets and Cool Cody and Amula Gold at Cheltenham in the spring. He unseated when he was favourite for the Paddy Power at Cheltenham. And he came out last time and was second on New Year's Day to Midnight River over that course and distance. What you need at Warwick is a horse that gets into a nice rhythm up the front, presumably in front, and jumps well. And that's exactly what Stolen Silver would do. He's a short price. He's shorter than I would usually get involved in, but I just think he wins. And I think he's quite a sound bet. If you like betting short ones, I think he's the one for today or tomorrow, actually.
Sam Thomas, he's just not been running many horses, has he, Sam? But I don't know. I wouldn't go so far as to say they're quiet per se. I think he'll win as well.
He hasn't got many horses.
No, he doesn't, does he? Yeah.
That's the thing. He trains for Di Walters, his private his trainer, and he hasn't got many horses. But the horses he has got, he squeezes the best out of them.
It's a big weekend for him, of course. Yeah, I think I don't have anything to add to that, to be completely honest. But it wouldn't be a massive bet for me because I didn't love the race, the shape of it. Adele?
I agree with Steve. It was one of them races where the thing is, with Saturday, we're getting some of these small fields and they're just looking like perfect opportunities for horses like Stolen Silver. So I think he just wins, as Steve says. He ran a decent race in defeat last time out. My only little worry, he's the highest rated, the next best, Mackenberg, but I think he will appreciate the step back up in trip, Mackenberg, but he was kind of firmly put in his place in this kind of level of race last time out. So Stolen Silver wins. Simple.
Okay, Deasy disagrees with us.
Just to be contrary, yeah. So Stolen Silver he has to give away stones away in this. And I was looking through the 5 of them, and I can't see Messier des Obeaux running if it's good ground. He's a lot of problems. I can see Alan King putting him out. Same night in Dubai. doesn't really run on good ground. So this could be a 3-horse race. And the one I'm actually going for is Galahad Quest, which I actually cannot believe I'm putting this horse up because he very rarely wins. But I just think there's a few things in his favour out today. So one of them is they're putting headgear on him again for the first time. I think they're putting cheek pieces on him. Now, the last time they put headgear on him for the first time was on the 20th of February 2021, and he won after thirds and fourths and that kind of stuff. So the headgear angle does work. He's getting nearly 2 stone off Stone and Silver now. That's because he's rated 128. I think he's like just at the prices. I'm happy enough to take a little small bet on him that the weight might be in his favour and that the headpieces spark him up, and it could end up being like a 2 or 3 runner race, quite tactical. And yeah, I'd rather have a bet on him than Stone and Silver. Stone and Silver could be long odds on by the time this starts up.
Okay, we move on to the mares. This is a listed race. Love Envoy is right at the top of the betting, 1.7. She's giving a bit of weight to Theatre Glory, who's 4.0, rated far superior. Molly Ollie's Wish is 11.0, indefatigable. Sky Ace, all big prices, and Malakan are even bigger. West Balboa doesn't go. Let's start with Love Envoy, and then Deasy and I are going to try and be clever. Adele, not a single bet, but you might add us to some multiples.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Why not? I mean, she's done nothing wrong. She seems to be absolutely thriving on her races. She handles absolutely any ground. She's got a serious engine. I think surely she just wins on Saturday. I'm sorry, but I can't see her not winning.
Any chance, Steve, she gets beat?
Yeah, I was thinking about taking her on because the ground's going to be an awful lot quicker than she's used to, and that did worry me a bit. But the one horse that I would possibly take her on with Ollie's Wishes is another horse that probably wants it a bit softer. So it wasn't a race I wanted to get too involved with, considering that I've got quite a few stronger fancies elsewhere. So I was happy to sit this out.
All right, and then there's Decent Eye putting up Theatre Glory, and I'd be at the prices. I'd be willing, Deece, to give her to have a fair go at her at 4.0. I think she's better than her mark. Now, she ran in a handicap last time, and that wasn't proven. The only thing is that was on pretty holding ground on Boxing Day, so I'm sort of half willing to forgive her that. I'll give her. She came down in the Jerry Field. She unseated in the Jerry Field, and last time she was a bit disappointing. She definitely wants good ground. When she won at Cheltenham at the back end of last year, I was really impressed with her. She's back against her own sex, and if Love Envoy does want more testing ground than this, I think this could be the time to get her. And yeah, there was more between them in the betting than I thought there should be. I can see Love Envoy getting beat.
Yeah, look, I'm just taking on the sharp price favourites. Love Envoy is very good, obviously, and is going to be, further forth in the betting, probably in the Mayor's Hurdle at Cheltenham. But is she going to be fully tuned up for this? And is this going to be the target? Like, are they want to give her a hard race and go ground a couple of weeks before Cheltenham? I'm kind of hoping that maybe that she's not 100%. I think Theatre Glory will be 100%. Again, she ran fine there at Christmas behind that Great Awning, who was very well handicapped. She would have been in the top 10 in the ratings in the Betfair Hurdle. I think this might be a bit of a softer target for her, and maybe Nikki has picked it out, and I'm quite willing to have a bet off her at 4.0, whatever she is. Okay.
We then come on to John Bond's race, the Kingmaker. It's obviously not the sharpest betting heat. John Bond is an incredibly short price, probably should be. Hadad Izobo 6.0, Bass Rock is 21.0, and Calico is 51.0. Nobody's putting up John Bond here. You have put John Bond, Deece, but do you make him a bet?
Well, sure, he's almost certainly a bet. If you like, he'll definitely win. It was like Epatante there a few weeks ago. Epatante was about this price. We were saying that like all she has to do is just get around them.
He's 1.25, 1.2.
Yeah, like it's not. I won't be piling into it. So I probably should have said no. But he will win. Like as Adele said, there, stick him into multiples. You could stick him into every bet you have for the rest of the day, just to juice it up a small bit. But I think he should win this easily.
Do you think he's definitely going to run?
Well, that's the other thing then. Like, is it depends how good the ground is, how hard the ground is. I know that they can water at Warwick, they can't water at Newbury for some reason, but is there going to be enough water getting to the ground? Will it be safe?
Yeah. Arkle wise, Steve, John Bond's 2.38, El Fabiolo 3.0, Dysart Dynamo 11.0. If you fancy John Bond for an Arkle, is there anything to be gained by backing him now or not?
No, I don't think so. If they all get there, I think it's going to be a really good race. And he's been very short the whole way through because of his hurdles form, and he looked the obvious one. Nicky Heddon's record in the Arkle is fantastic, and I wouldn't want to bet too much against him, but he's pretty short considering the competition that there is out there.
Adele, any view on John Bond as an Arkle horse?
Well, I mean, he's done nothing wrong, has he? Like, I mean, fences seem to really suit him. You know, I think like over hurdles last season, I think he just maybe found it all a little bit too easy. You know, he was kind of like that highly strung horse, but I just think he had that much ability. He found it a little bit too easy. Didn't really kind of leave its mark on him. Whereas over fences, he just looks different class. And from what I can hear, like about his work at home, the lad that rides him out, Paddy, they just have such a great relationship. I've ridden horses who have a similar personality to John Bond, and having that regular rider, like I used to ride a horse. I remember I was off on my maternity and he didn't win the whole time I was off because he's just better for knowing. And then when I went back, he won after a couple of months. And I think as long as he can keep that relationship with that lad, he's a very nice horse. And as I said, he's done nothing wrong at all. Just interesting though, El Fabiolo, they were only neck separated them at Aintree, so it will be. You know, it'll definitely be his toughest contest, absolutely, won't it?
Yeah, and El Fabiolo might have won, but for an error 2 out as well that day. But John Bond looks like a man now, doesn't he? He's just grown up.
He's athletic, and his mind seems to really settle in a little bit better. Like he looks a lovely horse.
All right, that's us done. Yeah, nobody else had a bet for that race. Any other bets? It's not an official bet. I just wanted to flag up Lacta Constance, who was one of our horses to follow this year. Incidentally, I should have mentioned that one of Matt Tombs' horses to follow is Gentleman de May, who won at a big price at the weekend. I think he's probably going to be siding with him again for the champion chase. But anyway, more on that as we build up to Cheltenham. Lacta Constance there's really only one other market rival, and he's rated £10 superior. So there are no prices yet, but I think he should be odds on, and he probably will be. If he was sneaking around towards even money, I'd be interested. But as I said, there's no official prices as yet, so I can't be too confident. Captain Mathan's the other horse. Adele, you've got another one for us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not overly strong, but Lord Redford runs at Wolverhampton tomorrow night, and he's got to beat Alligator Alley, who has already won 3 races, and he's gone up another £6, whereas Lord Ridderford is kind of going the opposite way and has been dropping down in the weight. So it won't be long before this horse wins. Hopefully it'll be Saturday, and he's a big price. Hopefully big enough you can maybe back him at the place market as well, but certainly want to keep an eye on the all weather. I don't think it'll be long before he wins.
Steve?
I am going for a race at Warwick, the 348, and Greatest Star, who I think is massively overpriced again. I think he's around 19.0, something like that. He's only had one run for Fergal O'Brien, which came on Boxing Day when Ferg's horses weren't running as well as they have been all season. They're in great form now, and that was his first start since joining from Dan Skelton. If you go back to this time last year, Greatest Star finished third to punctuation and Son Doctor. If he's in that form and they ride him prominent, I think he's got a great chance. And he's ridden by Jack Hogan, who's a really good £5 claiming conditional. I think he's Dennis Hogan's cousin, and he's well worth £5. So I think he's got a good chance here, a big price.
And Deasy, you've got another at Warwick.
Yeah, I'm going for Gitch Gummy in the 313 in Warwick. He ran in a bumper there at the end of last season at Kempton. He beat Caleb, actually, who was not so mentioned earlier, was the name of Murphy Horse. But he was bought by JP McManus just before the start of this season, and he duly hacked up well backed on his novice hurdle, his first start of the season at Stratford. Actually dropped down a division and ran crap in the next 2 races, but he's back out here now. I think they're probably waiting for better ground with him. There's a few of these horses now could be anything. I think him and Hullenbach are the only winners. I can see Hullenbach probably being a sharp price favourite. Gitch Gummy might be underrated by the markets, but I think he's a nice looking horse. And I'll have a little bet off him.
All right. Best lays. Well, Steve, we know who you're laying. Take it away.
Yeah, Hitman, he's just like a cash machine, isn't he? So he's up against horses that are live ones. The likes of Does He Know, Eldorado Allen, who I think should be favourite. So if he can take on a horse like Hitman, favourite, who pulled up in the King George last time, don't think truly stays 3 miles. And although this is shy of it, and will be taken on up front. I was right. Does He Know will go from the front because he was held up last time over 3-3. But over this 2-7 and a bit, he will go from the front, and Eldorado Allen won't be far away either. And he'll just drop the anchor as soon as he can, Hitman. Can we have
a match bet? Who jumps the first fence in front, Steve?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want on it? A bacon roll the next time I see you.
Or a pint. Oh no, you're not drinking anymore, are you?
No, I broke it last night.
Oh, did you? Oh, right. Is that why you're looking so rough?
Yeah, a pint. Definitely, Hitman will jump the first fence in front. Good.
Well, I'll go.
You can have the rest of the field, Steve. You have the rest of the field.
Oh, can I? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll have the rest of the field.
Done.
Brill. I'm going in Newbury. I'm going to go down to the start.
Hitman withdrawn. Good. Anyone else got one? Oh, so my lay. Sorry, I'm going to back Hitman, but I will look to get out a bit in the run because he will trade a good.
Finish second.
Bets. Micheál Deasy, who's your best bet and why?
Auchenrisk in the other betting exchange hurdle, the 335 win place because he is well treated based on his chase mark, and Chris Gordon on is as well in the race.
In that same race, I am going to put up one for the road, win and place for the reasons I made earlier. More likely to place, yes, but he's way overpriced for me. Adele.
Stolen Silver. Hopefully all 5 run so that we can kind of keep the price. Just think it looks a perfect opportunity for him to get his head in front.
And Steve.
Master Trainer Philip Hobbs for me with Jatilawa in the 150 at Newbury.
And don't forget, you get double the odds on all of those best bets. Double the odds on all of those best bets. That's for new customers only. Use the bonus code podcast to take advantage of that offer. Steve, Adele, Deasy, thank you ever so much. Thanks to everyone at home for listening. Keep an eye out for all the Cheltenham content that's going to be coming your way. We're not too far away from doing, maybe about a couple of weeks or so, from doing our Cheltenham anti-post preview. So, yeah, very much looking forward to that. And keep an eye out for the Ollie Murphy content as well, weekly interviews with his runners. We will chat again soon. Bye-bye.